Hello, I'm Park Howell, and welcome to the Business of Story. During these troubling times, our marvelous show sponsor, Sendable, is offering you their free starter plan for your social media management, publishing, and reporting. Check it out at sendable.com/COVID-19. On today's show, you are going to hear from a guy who was just named Search Marketer of the Year, John Lincoln. He is the CEO of Ignite Visibility, and on this show, he's going to talk about why now, during this time of crisis, requires you to pivot your digital storytelling and exactly what to do.
I thought it was just a stupid picture of a pig in the ocean. But after hearing that story, I had to have it. Now I wasn't just buying a picture. I was buying a story. Story literally made the picture worth more money to me.
That's what businesses are about. People buy brands. People buy stories much more than anything else.
I work with a lot of big enterprise companies, but let's just say I always tell folks, drop the PowerPoint, close your laptops, start with your story.
If you want people to get engaged and you want people to act, you have to tell them an emotionally powerful story. That's with great characters, it's with uncertain outcomes, and it's with high stakes and drama.
All business strategy is a story.
I had a buddy show up in the office the other day. Don't worry, I am totally sheltering in place here because there's virtually nobody here in our building. But he popped in and he said, "Doesn't it feel like time is standing still?" Well, he nailed exactly what I was feeling in that moment. So while people aren't responding to emails, texts are going unanswered, and ghosting is frighteningly apparent, time is indeed moving on, and so are your competitors. So you can imagine, sitting still is not the answer. John Lincoln joins us to talk about what you can do right now with your digital marketing to help those who need you the most and create the foundation for explosive growth when we come out on the other side of this COVID-19 thing. In fact, his recommendations in today's show can be used anytime the universe turns your world upside down. John co-founded Ignite Visibility in 2013, which has grown to be one of the top digital marketing agencies in the nation. With 16 plus years of demanding experience, as you will hear, John has worked with over 1,000 online businesses, including clients such as Office Depot, Tony Robbins, Morgan Stanley, Fox, USA Today, and so many more. He is a highly sought-after digital marketing strategist, industry speaker, and winner of the coveted Search Engine Land Search Marketer of the Year award. He's also written 2 books, The Forecaster Method and Digital Influencer. And John has actually made 2 movies, SEO, the movie, and Social Media Marketing, the movie. More on his movie making in a minute. And, oh, by the way, I want you to stay tuned after the show when John will share with you how he came to work with Uber coach and motivator Tony Robbins. It's a terrific story. So let's start learning right now how you can pivot your digital storytelling in this time of crisis on this special edition of the Business of Story. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me here. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to have you over here. You're over in San Diego, right?
San Diego, California, rainy day here in San Diego. They say that, people move here because it never rains, but in the last 3 months, it's, rained at least once a week. So I guess we're not holding up to it right now. So
I know our daughter lives over there. She's in South Park, and we've been communicating a lot with her lately, of course, with everything going on. And she said the same thing. It just keeps raining and raining and raining.
a lot of rain and interesting time. All of us are, sheltered at home and in the rain. And, but I'll tell you, one good part is I've never spent more time with the family and the kids. Being somebody who travels a lot, for speaking or for work or something like that, it's been really fun to spend some time with the son. So a little bit of silver lining there, I guess.
Oh, good for you. How old are your kids?
So I have a 5-year and a 4-year-old, 2 little boys.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to keep you on the run.
Yeah,
We are empty nesters, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's great to have you here. Now, one of the things we've been having a lot of thought leaders on the show lately, and we've actually even upped our dropping of shows every 2 shows a week now, just to kind of cover what's been happening in all of our lives and the chaos out there, and just getting some quick insights from folks. And I'd love to start the show with you on that note, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the work you do in SEO and digital marketing and so forth. But we haven't covered this particular subject with the other folks we've had on lately. Here we are, John, in this, totally upside down, bizarro world. And I think people are half afraid to be marketing online. They want to be sensitive to the people out there. But you know what? We also still have to maintain our businesses and grow our businesses and help people out there. What is your advice to folks on maybe a mindset switch to taking your business online, being sensitive while you're there, but also being willing to grow your own business?
So I think most people need to understand that first, that this might not be the only time that this happens in history. It might be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, maybe another 100, I'm not sure. But what it's really made all of us realize is that you need to have a digital fallback plan. So every business now, I believe, moving forward, needs to have a 100% digital fallback plan. So at any point in time, they can have some elements of the business running, some elements of revenue running, essentially an ad hoc plan so that they can operate 100% virtually, 100% sanitary, and 100% online. So we've been helping a lot of people with that, going 100% virtual. And, it's not that hard to do for certain businesses. Other ones, it's much, much harder. It's all obviously dependent on the industry. But thinking about things like project management softwares, thinking about things like online meetings, online events, online consulting, online education, and all of that. But for businesses specifically right now, I believe every single business needs to have a customer communication plan. That is probably the most important thing. So I'm talking a page on the website that talks about how they're helping, right? What their price is, right? Has there been any changes to their price? How are they helping the current situation? How are they operating? And when they're putting up this page, they need to really be thinking about their new product market fit. What has changed with their customers? Their customers are now in a fearful state. And how is their product or service now better serving their customer? Or how has it changed to serve the customer? And really, what is that new value? So I think it's really important everybody go through that. And then also, once they've kind of created that new customer communication strategy, they do a full digital refresh. I'm talking all their remarketing ads, all their new customer ads, all their content marketing, their emails, right? Everything that touches a prospect or a current customer needs a digital refresh. And it needs to talk about their new product market fit, how they're helping, any price changes and stuff like that. Also, along those lines, I've seen a media response plan be really, really successful. So you want to stay in the media. There's never been more press. There's never been more news. And there's never been more people glued to the news than I believe that I've ever seen. The history of the world, I don't know, but very, very close, most likely, with everybody at home. These huge surges in social media, these huge surges of people glued to their phone, refreshing things. And I just think what I've seen be very, very successful is businesses coming to it with a strategy of this is how we're helping. This is how we are, as a business, providing a solution to this problem and how we're being good people. And then I think, finally, the other thing that's really important for everybody to keep in mind is at some point this will be over, right? Every day, it's either some bad news or some good news. We see the Dow go up or down. But eventually, you're going to see some more good and some more good and some more good. I firmly believe that. And so you need to be planning for bookings for when this is over. So how can you fully maximize bookings for when this event has kind of concluded? So plan for a really big end of the year and get all of the stuff in line that you need right now to be able to support that from an operational perspective, a digital marketing perspective, and all that. And during that entire time, I think, maybe the last thing I'd say on just this kind of brief overview is that, be good to everybody right now because everybody's going to come back around, want to do business again in the future. And I think that crisis customer communication plan is a big part of that, giving people that good feeling. So.
All right. Wow. You ran through that quickly. So you've just given us the outline for the show. Thank you for that, John. So let's go back, because I'm sure a lot of listeners, including myself, is like, oh my God, how do I possibly get my head around all of that? Let's go back to that idea. Okay, we're not going to worry about the project management software and the operations, but I'm interested to jump into your customer communications plan. Can you give us an example of where you're seeing that happen and who's doing a good job? Maybe it's even one of your clients that you've helped restructure that. We are, as of this recording, only a couple of weeks into the coronavirus thing. So all of this has been happening so quickly, and a lot of brands have a hard time turning that quickly on, in revising everything. So let's start with that customer comms plan. Do you got an example of who's doing it well, and how did they go about that?
Yeah, so some of our clients are huge companies, and I try not to talk too much about their stuff. But what I can tell you is that I do have a bunch of great examples as well. But some of our clients are doing better than they've ever done, and then other ones are not doing as well. But just to answer your question, so one that I really liked that I personally experienced was Papa John's. So Papa John's now, they created a marketing campaign. So everybody check this out. It's their no contact delivery from Papa John's campaign, right? Step one, you order online. Step two, all the pizzas prepared, in a sanitary manner. Step three, it comes to your house. They put it on a box. The person walks back 6-7 feet, and then you grab your pizza. You walk in your house, they come back, they pick up the box, and then they leave. And what they've done is they've turned that no contact delivery into all of their customer messaging. And I just think that is so smart, because they directly address the issue, and they took a lot of fear out of their current customer and new customers' minds. So that would be one example.
And that's a great example, real quick, John, because it's something that they could easily do. I mean, they didn't really have to make any appreciable changes in operations. They just said, wait a minute, let's pivot just enough so that our customers feel safe when we're showing up with their pizza.
I love it. And I think you said it really well. I mean, what did it cost them? It cost them another cardboard box. I'm sure they have a couple extra in the back,
Yep.
And I think it really helped the business keep going. So yeah, that would be an example. Another one that I saw recently that I thought was just so smart. There's this restaurant in San Diego called Snooze, and we go there sometimes, and we'll get some breakfast and stuff like that. And what they did is they created a Taco Tuesday party pack. I mean, people can't go out and they can't get Taco Tuesday. So they created this $45 bundle, limited time. You can only get it right now, and blasted it out. And my wife picked it up, and we had Taco Tuesday with the boys, and it was just a fantastic idea by them. So I love this creativity that we're seeing from people. So.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all over the place, not only with just memes on Instagram, but what brands are doing. And we have Snooze over here as well, I believe. And I've got a wife who loves tacos. So now I'm going to have to surprise her with Taco Tuesday, maybe tonight. I'll have to look into that. So those are examples then of what you're thinking about customer communications wise. And do you feel like this hits more on a business, B2C, business to consumer brand versus a B2B brand? Or are you seeing on both sides of the table brands doing this well?
No, I would say it's literally across the board. And, even for us, I mean, a big selling point for us is, we're a digital marketing agency. Every 3 months, we do a quarterly business review in person. We show you what worked, we show you the strategy, and we show you where we're going to go moving forward. Like, customers love that. They love the relationship side. And so for us, we've had to communicate, hey, we're going to still be doing that same exact thing. But now it's going to be, via Zoom, right? And now it's going to be via call. So, I mean, we're seeing people just do it all over. And it's not just about like little stuff, like, we're going to, not that it's little, but things like distance, right? Like the other thing that I saw that I loved is, this kind of crisis communication plan by Starbucks, where Starbucks came out and they developed this whole program around helping the mental health of all of their employees during this time. And I love that. Like, it made me feel good because we have 90 employees, and I worry, how are our employees doing? They're at home, some of them might be in a condo or an apartment and they're working from home and they can't get outside. And, others might have a house. I don't know. But, I love that Starbucks came at it, and they didn't just think about the customer. They thought about the employee and their mental health and came out with this whole range of benefits around that. So that was another really cool initiative.
John, are you guys doing anything out of the ordinary at Ignite Visibility for your customer, your employee communication?
So yeah, we are actually. So I am doing, a two times a week. I'm doing updates, and I'm telling the employees 100% transparency wise, where we are as a company, how things are going, what new clients are coming on, which ones are not. We've never been more transparent in the history of the company. I myself, we haven't, really dropped a ton because we're a digital marketing agency, but we've definitely taken a hit. And so I messaged to the entire staff that I'm taking, a big pay cut. And I think that they appreciated that quite a bit. And, just in general, we've been really working with them, and we've been working as hard as we can just to keep the business in a great place and not, let anybody go or anything like that. So we're really working hard to hunker down and keep the business in a good spot. And, on the business strategy side, one of the things that we've done that's allowed us to do that is we've started targeting the industries that are doing well as a result of this. So we can talk about that a little bit, but that pivot has allowed us to actually bring in quite a bit of new business, and it's helped kind of keep employees on board and keep the business afloat.
Yeah, what industries are you targeting?
So, in any type of changing landscape, somebody's going to do better than others, right? So, certain types of industries are doing well. So like gaming is doing really well. So video games, and I've done quite a bit in that industry. Any type of online education is doing really well. We have quite a bit of clients in that area. E-commerce for certain industries is doing really well. Health and well-being is doing really well. Publishing, entertainment is doing really well. So there's a lot of things that just doubled overnight as a result of people being home, needing entertainment, wanting to feel better about themselves, wanting to be healthier, wanting to kind of just like have a good life in this new world, right? And then obviously medical. I wouldn't say is doing well. I would say is needing support in a lot of different areas, right? So we're helping them as much as possible, and we do work with, some different medical areas, and some are doing better than others. Obviously, certain ones have had to, like dental offices have had to shut down for a couple of weeks and things like that. But I think one thing that's been smart, and I would say if there are any business owners listening here, I would take inventory of your clients, the ones that are doing better than others, and obviously help the ones that aren't doing well. And then the ones that are, those are the people that you can kind of start targeting. And there's a long list, and, really anything that's online, 100% virtual, SaaS products, stuff like that, they're still growing quite a bit.
Yeah. You mentioned gaming, and you made me think about our youngest son, Caden. He lives up in Vegas, 26 years old, just graduated from the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences. He worked at a studio up there, and of course the recording studio all got shut down and had no work there. But he started creating his own Twitch channel, and I don't know if you guys work much in the Twitch world. I'm just learning about it, through him. He had started in November, and he's just been like ruthlessly online. I mean, he spends sometimes 12 hours in a ongoing stream. And he said, "Dad, this is the weirdest thing because everything has collapsed down around us." That he goes, "Actually, my channel now has just blown up. I've got all kinds of subscribers." He's actually making some money on it. And he would do things like go into the Strip, which is completely shut down. He goes with his skateboard. He goes, "It feels like I'm in a video game, in a border video game, and here you are. You get to skateboard the Strip in Vegas." And he shoots his shows live around Vegas and is getting all of this kind of following. And we were just talking about this on Sunday. From a branding standpoint and from a business opportunity standpoint, Twitch is just a microcosm of something that people could be doing that is absolutely taking off during this downtime.
Yeah, I think you really hit a very important point. Whether it's Twitch, Facebook, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Snapchat, wherever your customers are, I mean, just that continual communication strategy, letting them know that you're still there and that you're doing good things and that you're open for business. But in general, I was very interested to see how this would play out at the beginning, because I knew that online was going to surge. Because so many people were on their phones, and I could even see my own behavior, right? And so now all of these sites, there's so many people on them that they literally don't have the bandwidth in some cases. Facebook's been going slower. They've had to drop their resolution for videos, right? All the advertising is the least expensive that it's ever been, because the inventory has gone way up, and some advertisers in certain industries have pulled back. So it's like, if right now, if you can find the right product market fit, and it's done in a tasteful way, and it actually adds value to people, right, and all that, it's a very interesting time for some level of, if you could even call it opportunity, but from a business perspective. So,
well, that is a great transition then to this next question. Then you had covered at the beginning of the show the customer comms plan, but then now the full digital refresh. So when you said that, in my mind, I just want to make sure I've got this right. It's like, okay, everything that a brand is doing online, they've got to look at it, make sure it's not tone deaf. In a lot of cases, switch it out so they have more appropriate communication going on. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about with a digital refresh?
Yeah, generally. I mean, I think you got to kind of reassess everything. I mean, we had a press release going out, and I pulled it. We're the number one SEO company in the nation, right? I'm proud of that award and everything, and I'm proud of the awards we get. But I pulled it because it did not feel like the right time, and I still don't think it's the right time for us to be touting accomplishments, right? So what we've done is we've completely revamped our strategy about, and even all of our own, digital marketing, about how we can help people, how we can get them through this, how we can help them scale and have a big end of the year. And so it's not just us. Everybody has to do that. You could have ads out there right now, or content that's a liability, and you don't want that. So I highly recommend that everybody look at their affiliate marketing, their media buys. They look at all of their paid media on all the different channels that they're on, their content marketing, their email marketing. And what they do is they take a step back and they create one clear customer communication plan with a new set of creative, and then they roll that out and they put that into kind of like a maintenance mode. You could kind of drop the spend to maybe 50%, 75% of what you had. Just kind of see how it performs. Look at it as a mix of branding and cost per acquisition in some cases. But you've got to take a step back, and you got to realize that the entire world just changed, not just the US. I mean, the entire world. And you have to see your product as completely different right now, and your consumer as completely different right now. So I'm really recommending all new upper funnel, mid funnel, bottom funnel advertising. And, to think about it more from a long-term perspective, not so much as buy now, buy now, buy now. And, it's okay to still sell right now, but you got to do it responsibly, more on the side of help, price, product market fit, being good people, and just, because this is, I believe, the first time in history, everybody's kind of rallied together around one problem, and you want to be a part of that solution.
You had me smiling on this end when you said, and you got to be a good person. My hope is they're already good people. Let's just let it show a little bit more. But I know what you mean. You got to be a good person out there. Who have you seen that you think has done a good job with their digital refresh? Because again, we're still kind of in the infancy of all this, and people have had to, move on a dime. And I said, watching CNN or whatever, I saw a couple weeks ago just these completely tone-deaf commercials on, because they had been created, like, I'm not sure I want to buy a Mercedes-Benz right now. It just didn't seem appropriate. And it seems like only like over this past weekend have I seen an appreciable change in the creative and communications, and more brands are now finally talking, relevancy to the times. Who do you think has done a really good job of making that pivot better than others, quicker than others, with a message that's on point?
Well, one of the people I saw jump on it and they rolled out all new creative and everything was Budweiser. And I thought they did excuse me, not Budweiser, Samuel Adams. And I thought they did a really good job. What they did is they rolled out a new campaign, call it a marketing campaign, call it a crisis communication campaign, call it a philanthropic campaign. I think it could be all three. But what they did is they created a fund and a whole new website and all new creative to raise money, and which they also donated to for restaurants. And I thought about that and I was like, you know what, excuse me, Sam Adams, that was a really great idea, because think of what you just did. You just created a fund where you're helping and got other people to help, and you're raising all this money for who? Well, your biggest distributors, right? You are helping your customer. You're helping the people who needed it, and they're going to appreciate it, right? Every restaurant that's out there, and they're thinking, Sam Adams, that was yesterday or whatever, or maybe I'm into this craft beer now, but whatever, forget all that. What kind of beer is the consumer preference? What I love is that, these guys, they stepped up out of everybody, even big and corporate, and they're not the microbrew that everybody wants, or maybe they are, I don't know. But, and they created this fund for us, and that makes me feel good. And I really like them. And, I'm going to want them in, our selection of taps in the future. I thought that was really good. Another one that I saw that was kind of like that. So our kids, maybe your kids, I think my kids are younger, but now they have to be homeschooled, right? And so what San Diego Unified School District did is they made it so that they have to get on Zoom calls or online conferencing, doesn't have to be Zoom, every single day, so that they can get lessons from their teachers, right? And so literally, my kids, they're not going back to school, they're going to be at home, but outside of that, this created this huge demand for education, right? This huge demand for education. Everybody's thinking about what they can do. So one example of somebody who came back on that is this company called Loom. And what Loom did is they made the software 100% free for students and for teachers, right? They helped out. They don't have to pay anything. They can all use it. It's free. They're not going to make it. They're not going to charge, at any point in the near future. They've made that really clear on their website. And I just think that those are the type of things that businesses should be doing right now.
Yeah, purpose-driven campaigns that actually make sense. So the Samuel Adams, perfect, because these restaurants aren't going to rebound anytime soon. Even if the economy comes back. We were just commenting last night in Phoenix, over the past 10 years, we have been overrun with restaurants. And even in the best of times, we kept asking ourselves, how can all of these restaurants stay in business? There's so much competition. And now I'm wondering if we're going to lose 3/4 of them, or we're going to have a lot of these beautiful facades out there without any sort of employees or serving going on. So Samuel Adams hit it exactly right. We're here to help you as a contributing member of the success of your restaurant. Totally makes sense. And Loom, what is Loom? Is that an online learning platform?
Yeah, so Loom is, just a way. Hey, it's about as close to Zoom as you could get. It's called Loom.
That's what I was thinking. Right.
But it's just one example, I've seen this type of thing across every industry, and clearly, I've been looking into it a lot for clients, because I've just been helping all of our clients create this new marketing and communication strategy. But even Forbes, they came out with, a huge online event for business resilience, so they're helping people become more resilient. And everywhere that I see, it's somebody is helping the customer get through this, and it's just shifted a lot. But yeah, Loom is just, it's kind of like a Zoom, but it's more for online courses.
All right. Next up, media response plan. Is that basically a crisis communications plan, or is it more proactive in that here's what's happening out there in the world, and here's the kind of media we want to release to demonstrate to people, what we're doing and how we're helping?
So consumers right now, they want all of the latest news on COVID-19. They want all the latest news on the economy, and they want it from everybody. And a lot of people are running out of, new things to talk about that can help their consumers. So, when you think of the media, they want to help all their listeners, just like, we want to help all of our listeners. So, what you want to do is you want to think about, what ways can you contribute to the conversation. So, for me, what I'm doing in our media response strategy is coming up with specific strategies so that business owners can get through this by changing their digital marketing. That's what I speak to. If you were a plumber, how could you do it yourself, plumbing at home, or how could you have minimal contact around something like that. One of our clients is Roto-Rooters, right? And so they're helping through that, and it's been really, really appreciated. People are still having plumbing issues, and so now they're helping them kind of through that process. But it's about what value can you bring around this topic, and then getting it out there. And some people, I've seen a lot of different companies at various different levels of PR. Some people have somebody who as a full-time publicist pitching all day. Other people, they just kind of respond to things as things come in. One great tip that I have for everybody is if they want to try to do this and they're a smaller business, you can just look at the help a reporter out queries every day and just respond to the things that you feel like you can add value to. Because, right now what we're seeing is the media wants to help here and they want to cover information here. And we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of queries come in a day around this. So, what are you prepared to speak to, and kind of laying that out, and then, getting your message out there is kind of the main point.
So, John, as you're helping all of your clients, customers make this digital transition and help them, carefully crafting their stories, what are you doing internally with your own folks? And you guys, I know, are at home. You're at the shelter at home. Are most of your employees in California?
Yeah, we've got a couple people in Phoenix and Portland, and a few remote workers, New York a little bit, but most people are in San Diego.
So I know our kids have been locked down there. We've got our daughter in South Park and then our son up in Hollywood. And over here in Phoenix, we don't have the shelter in place. They really encourage you to stay home and work from home and that kind of thing. But what are you doing to keep yourself motivated, working from home without that, contact with your employees? And what are you doing to help your employees do the same?
So what we've really done is try to be sympathetic first, try to be understanding first, try to help them as much as possible first. On the other end, we've had to up accountability a little bit more, and then meetings a little bit more, and office hours a little bit more. I mean, at my office, 90 people, we can walk outside and talk to people at any time. We've got 2 great conference rooms, right? It's a very nice facility that I'm proud of, but we don't have that, and we can't do those meetings as much anymore. And so what we've done is, for each department, especially the ones that aren't client facing, which there aren't many, but for those ones, we're doing daily check-ins at the end of the day. What was accomplished? What issues did you have? How can we help you be more successful? We've created, clear levels of accountability. We need to achieve this each week, right? These are our goals at the beginning of the week. These are our goals at the end of the week. We need to achieve this because it gets to this, and so on and so forth. But, for us, we've always had a pretty tight business structure and accountability structure. We run the whole business off of the Entrepreneur Operating System, which is pulled from a book called Traction, which you may have heard of. But, we know exactly how much everybody manages, their exact, just job description, the value they bring to the company. So for us, the only change we've really had to make is just a ton more online meetings, a ton more online accountability. And then we recently, last Friday, we did our first company-wide happy hour via online. And that was really fun. Actually, my business partner, Chris, he DJ'd it, which means he just played speakers in the back of his Zoom. But it was fun. Like, everybody had a good time. So try to have a little bit of a good time and still keep that relationship as well. So
yeah, that's the trickiest part. Well, I want to take a quick break here, John, for our good friends over at Sendable, the show sponsor. But when we come back, I got a couple questions for you. I'm really fascinated about your movie making career. So I want to cover that a little bit with you, but then I want to round off the show with optimism. What do you think? What do you anticipate? Not timing wise, but you had said at the beginning of this program, to be ready for super hyper growth potentially towards the end of this year and into next. And what are the kinds of recommendations that you might make to listeners on how to prepare for something that seems like it's so far off, but it's going to be here before I know it. So if you're cool, let's cover that right after this.
Perfect.
Well, as you've been hearing on today's show from John, that this whole COVID-19 thing, of course, has completely disrupted our lives, our worlds, our families, and our businesses. And we all have to think about how are we going to pivot digitally in our storytelling. And for me, I don't know about you, but it's kind of daunting to think about all the things you have to do, from re-strategizing your content to creating the right creative that is sensitive yet still sells, still works for you, because, we all have to stay in business to feed the ones we love and to help those out there in the world. One of the ways I found to make this pivot as easy as possible is with Sendable. It's the powerful social media management platform that we use here at Business of Story, and it just makes life a whole lot easier. Over 3,000 digital agencies use Sendable worldwide, and I want you to think about it if you're not using them. And now's the perfect time to think about it, because you can take advantage of their free starter plan now through July 1st, 2020. Just go to sendable.com/COVID-19. Get signed up, migrate your social media over to them, and you too will experience how easy it is to use the platform. We use it to source content from our clients and collaborate closely with them to create social media strategy built on true storytelling principles. I love it because we can reliably use Sendable to plan and schedule our content and have it automatically published to places like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and more. And it allows us to demonstrate to ourselves and to our clients the impact that their content is actually having on their audiences through really in-depth and easy-to-use reporting and analytics. There's so much more to Sendable. I want you to get over there, not right now, but right after this show, and check it out and see how you can start your plan for free at sendable.com/COVID-19. And oh, by the way, if you've got the wherewithal that you can afford to pay their nominal monthly subscription, I encourage you to do that, because that keeps the Sendable team gainfully employed so they can help those out there that aren't quite as fortunate. And right now, as a listener to the Business of Story, you can get 30% off the Sendable Traction Plan. Just go to sendable.com/Park30. That way, you'll feel good about supporting the good people at Sendable so that they can help all of those out there in need. Plus, you are going to get a powerful platform to help you start pivoting your digital storytelling today. Welcome back to the show. Park Howell here with John Lincoln, CEO of Ignite Visibility, the top-ranked SEO digital marketing firm. Well, what you had an announcement going out earlier, but you held it. Go ahead and make that announcement right here for our folks. You just got an award?
Yeah, well, we have been named as consistently on most of the lists out there through a ton of hard work as one of the top ranked digital marketing agencies and SEO companies in the nation. We started out in SEO, and but now all of our major divisions are equal size. And we're doing a lot of paid media, search engine marketing. But the award's really just, top search engine marketing company in the nation. We're super proud of it.
Oh, congratulations. You ought to be. I mean, that doesn't come easily. And I can just tell by your demeanor online here that you guys put your heart in the right place and really, really help people. You are the good people out there, as you were mentioning. But tell me, John, about your movie making. I was fascinated about that in the bio you sent over. Am I reading this right? You've made 2 movies, one called The Movie and one called Social Media Marketing, The Movie?
Yeah. So I've made 2 movies, and I think your listeners will get a kick out of this. They were both really, really fun to make. So the 2 movies are SEO The Movie, which was just picked up by thousands of websites. It was a huge success. And then the second one is Social Media Marketing The Movie, which was about 70% as successful as SEO The Movie. You can find them both on YouTube right now. I recently released them there. And, really what I was trying to do there was some thought leadership and tell a story around 2 of these subjects that are a huge, huge part of my life, And, the thing is making a movie is a lot easier than you think it is. I mean, both the movies only cost about $15,000 to make. We interviewed all the top people in the industry, brought them all together, all the top softwares. We got the full history of the movie and turned them into these documentaries, and kind of ended them both with strategic plans on how you can, do the best SEO, the best social media. They came together really, really well. And one of them, actually the SEO one, earned me the title of Search Marketer of the Year by Search Engine Land, which is the highest award you can get kind of in our SEO industry. And, but the relationships I made and the fun and being able to look back on it, it was just such a great experience. But I love it because I feel like anybody in any industry could steal that idea and do it for themselves if they like. So,
and you guys creative directed it, storyboarded, scripted it, the whole thing, and went out and shot it. I mean, you literally took it from start to finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing is, I don't know. I told my business partners about it, and they're like, John, what are you talking about? You're crazy. What are you going to make a movie? Get back to work, But then they kind of turned a corner and started being kind of supportive of it, and, honestly, I was walking on the treadmill one day, wrote the outline, called up Danny Sullivan, one of the biggest people in SEO. He was super nice, got on board with it. He helped me get everybody else on board with it. Shot the interviews over a 3-month period. I, kind of flew around the country or did some of them remote and just hired videographers to go out there, got an awesome editor, this really great editor, Dan LaFlick. And he and I, spent a few weekends or more, editing it all up together and getting this great flow. And then, we told everybody about it, had this big launch party on the website. And gosh, was it good for our business? And it's just this lasting thing. If you search for it, you'll see we got picked up obviously by, IMDb and, the Drum and all these major film sites. And I'd say it's one of the more proud things I've done just because I really like creating creative works, and it all kind of came together there.
How long are these movies?
So yeah, most documentaries, they don't need to be super long. So these ones were only about 45 minutes. And, I kind of wrestled with that, but I think that ended up being about right. We had it longer, and I ended up, I didn't want anybody to fall asleep. So we kept cutting it until it was just action packed. So left it at 45.
When did you launch them?
So SEO, the movie was like 3 years ago. Social media marketing, the movie was like 2 years ago. And then, in between those movies, I wrote 2 books. And the reason I bring that up is because what I try to do, and your listeners might find this interesting, but I try to kind of have one major thing a year that I do, whether it's a book or a movie or something like that. And that kind of keeps that excitement going about the company. So it's been kind of movie, book. So
in all your spare time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think, you're an entrepreneur, right? So, I mean, I think, you get kind of locked in and you get on these kicks where, you're just really having fun with it. And for me, it's not really work so much. I'm kind of passionate about it, and I really enjoy it. So
yeah, good for you. I know. I mean, I've been working on my book a long time. It's coming out in June, and I just know how much effort that takes when you're running a 90-person shop and taking care of clients and raising 2 young boys, and then, have that young family. It is a lot of work. So my hats off to you. And the whole movie concept, I think, is really cool. I'm going to have to look into that too. I'll have to wrangle my son, who's in the movie world over there in Hollywood, and say, hey, guess what? I got a new father-son project. And then he'll give me an estimate for his time, and I'll probably have to go somewhere else. But,
yeah.
So, John, optimism. I mean, it sounds like you're an optimistic guy to begin with, and you're a creator, you're a producer, you make a lot of things happen for people out in the world. What do you see? And let's not go to the timing thing because we have no idea how long this is going to take. But when we do get out of the other side of it, how are you setting yourself and your clients up for success?
Yeah. So people, I just think they're hungry right now, right? They're hungry for the comeback. Like I keep telling people right now, like, what's your comeback story going to be? And I really just feel like everybody's going to have a comeback story around this. Like I personally had a comeback story around 2008, when the financial crisis hit. And I am optimistic, and I really do feel like we're going to have a comeback story. So,
okay, I got to stop you right there, though, John. You can't say that to the host of the Business of Story and not tell us what your comeback story is.
Of the 2008, is that
yes,
what you'd like to
yes,
okay.
yes.
All right, so this is interesting. So I had been at this business for 4.5 years, working my butt off, and 7 to 7 every day. I was working at a business magazine, and we had grown from nothing to 25 people. I kind of worked my way to the top. I was feeling very good about the position. And then the financial crisis hit. And when that happened, basically the rug got swept out from underneath us. Everybody was gone from the company. I was the last man standing, working at the top of a building all by myself on the 19th floor, last guy keeping it open. And
I'm sorry, did you say this was a publication company?
Yeah, it was a magazine called Biz San Diego Magazine in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So I was last man standing, working there, trying to keep it going, and they basically handed the whole magazine responsibilities over to me. And then the financial crisis just got worse and worse, and then eventually I got let go. And I remember being pretty devastated. And I remember going to Petco Park, and I remember just like watching the ball game and having a beer and and just thinking, man, this is a pretty low moment. And then what I started doing is I started getting interested in how I was going to move forward. And I launched a new website, got really interested in affiliate marketing, did that for a couple weeks, eventually grew that website to 50,000 visitors a month. I was making, five grand or so a month off it, which was pretty good, sometimes less, sometimes more. And then I got a job as a marketing manager at a telecom company. And that's just in the matter of like 3 weeks. And I had a lot of fun, there and kind of got better and better at marketing. And eventually that landed me a job as a director at an agency where I was at for 3 years. And I just kept gaining more and more momentum and getting better and better at digital marketing. And, it's kind of at that point when I was at that telecom company and agency that I got really interested in, being motivated and stepping outside my shell and being a leader and speaking up and not having any fear in my life. Right. And I kind of stumbled upon some of the Tony Robbins stuff. And there's a whole kind of story around our relationship with him, which I could tell you. But really, it just kind of turned into just like more and more comebacks and momentum. And I got to tell you, for this, everybody listening, I'm so happy that happened to me. If I hadn't been let go from that I could still be there today. I'm so much more happy, where I am now. So.
And when did you guys start Ignite Visibility?
So we started Ignite Visibility in 2013. So it's been 7 years now. And, we started the company because, just basically passion for digital marketing and, wanting to over deliver for clients. And, we didn't just have all the resources that we needed at the last company. And, I'll tell you, our first client that we had, he's still a client today, and we've just over invested in his business every single year. And it just brings us a lot of pride just to, get people, help them achieve their dreams and all that. So it's been 7 years now. So we've got a little bit of time under our belt.
And what's the one thing you learned in your comeback story?
So the one thing that I learned in my comeback story, I think, is, honestly, everything happens for a reason, and there's an opportunity in most things, right? It really depends on how you look at anything, but anything can kind of be spinned into somewhat of an opportunity, and that was an opportunity for me. I had to get super scrappy and learn how to launch a whole website and do digital marketing 100% on my own. I had to, get out there and kind of and read different books and and all this, and I use that to plot a plan for my life, and all of it kind of manifested out of there. And I'd also say the other thing is, you can manifest any type of lifestyle that you want out there, if you really focus on it and have clear goals and clear direction and keep working on it. So, I love a good comeback story and like having my back against the wall. And I think, you got to embrace a little bit of that right now. So,
Yeah, without a doubt. So then, final question here. How do you see the opportunities and spinning opportunity out of this very, very tough time? Or how can, companies get themselves positioned for growth on the other side of this?
So here's what I'd like to tell everybody to do right now. Like if you were my client, what I would tell you to do right now is get your customer communication plan in line, right? Do your digital refresh, go as virtual as you can, and then get ready because it's going to start gradually scaling out of this, and then it's going to get super hot, right? I really do think that it is. And, when that happens, you got to be ready from an operational perspective, but also from a marketing perspective. I think you got to realize that all of your competition is thinking the same thing. So, what your competition might be looking at this as an opportunity to jump above you, to finally take the number one spot in the market. Is that going to be you? Is that going to be them? I know a lot of my clients are using this as an opportunity to try to become that number one, type of person. So I don't think you want to take your foot off the gas too much, but in general, I think everybody should be trying to get in place a cost per acquisition framework for digital marketing and get proof of concept so they can really turn the levers of their digital and then have operations to follow that and make sure they have a plan. Like now is really planning time, right? Now is the time to show you're going to do 10% revenue allocation to marketing. You're going to do X% revenue allocation to operations. This is going to be your profit margins. Get ready for that growth period that's going to come out of it. And then for right now, just, put in the time to do the planning because that stuff goes a really, really long way and everything ebbs and flows. We've had times at our company where we were way, way, way too busy. And I know it'll be back there someday. So
Yeah. Well, John, where can people learn more about you and maybe, download, buy your books and see your movies?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So my latest book is called The Forecaster Method, and it talks about all of the digital marketing methodologies I discussed today. That's on Amazon. And then I make weekly couple videos a week on YouTube that you could check out, where it's just I teach digital marketing. I also have a course called, the John Lincoln Marketing SEO course, which you can check out. But just Google me online and I'll find you and be happy to chat with anybody. And thanks so much for having me on, Mark.
Oh, John, I really appreciate you being here. And I just love the optimism and the energy in your voice. So thanks for bringing that to our listeners today.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
And I'd like to thank you all for listening to this edition of The Business of Story. If you like what you heard, and there was a lot in here that you got to love, share this episode and John's insights with your colleagues and with your friends and other folks, maybe even with your clients out there who are really dialing back their spending. And here's just another voice that says that may not be the best idea. Now's the time to plan and start really building your position in the marketplace. So, certainly share this show with them and check out John's books and his movies. I can't wait to go and watch a movie now that I know where to go and get them. And of course, if I can be of service to you, visit me over at Business of Story, where we have now 250 episodes of thought leaders like John that can help you craft and tell compelling stories online and off. And they share their wit and their wisdom very generously here. And of course, you can download any number of worksheets for free at Business of Story. I'm here to help you wherever I can. Remember to join us next week when we will have another story artist here like John. And until then, remember that the most potent story you'll ever tell is the story you tell yourself. So make it a great one. Thanks so much for listening.
So the Tony Robbins story kind of starts like this. So I had found out about Tony Robbins when I was 25, and I was reading a whole bunch of different books and trying to find a way to kind of break out of my shell and to take control of my life and to kind of plot my plan. So I found his book and I read it, and I decided that I was going to make marketing kind of my mission, and everything I did around that would help me, pay for my family. It would help me pay, for all the different things that we needed in life. And it would allow me to have some success and then give back to the world and be a good person. And that would be kind of my mission. So I got really into the Tony stuff, and, years and years went by. And then when we started Ignite, when I was in our first year. I had sent out a tweet, and I sent a tweet out to Tony, and I said, Tony, gosh, you're so great. I really feel like I could help you with your digital marketing. I really feel like I could. And I sent out that tweet, and I never heard back. And, about a year went by, and then a year went by, and I got an email for an RFP, and I opened it up, and literally, I was so excited that it was, the Robbins Research International team. And so I got the RFP, and I couldn't believe it. I felt almost as if I had kind of like manifested it or something, by being such a fan, by having his stuff help me so much, and I worked all weekend on it, put, a ton of work into it. And when they came to the office, they were so impressed because they had already read it, and they realized, how embedded we were in the stuff that they were doing. And, they basically hired us on the spot. And then, that was 5 years ago. We have worked with them since. We have had a ton of success. We now do their paid media. We help with their email marketing. We help, we manage a lot of their content and help with a lot of their content. And we've built just an amazing relationship with them. So, I think the main takeaway from that story is, you kind of get a lot of the things that you think about. The more you think about something and focus on something, the better chance you have of it coming back into your life. And it's been a cool experience for us.
Well, and it's not just thinking about it. I'm totally with you, but, by the way, but you actually took action. You thought about it, you put it out there, you did one tweet, and you had to wait for what you said 2 years, and then it manifests itself?
Yeah. About a couple years. And, I was always excited about, the prospect of working with them and, kind of following some of the social media stuff and everything. But I really do think you can. And that doesn't just happen with Tony Robbins, by the way. That's happened with Fuel TV, my favorite TV network I got a chance to work with, World Surf League, all of these great places that I've always wanted to work with have come into my life as a result of focusing on them, being a fan, and doing really good work for people. So anybody can make that happen too, I think.
Well, thanks, John, for sharing that story. That's a nice little added value to this show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.